There's nothing like a walk-off victory, and for the Phillies, they've had a couple on this homestand. It takes us into the final game of this four-game series between the Phils and the Colorado Rockies, and really for the first time in the while, the Phillies are flying high off their victory last night. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Even though the Phillies find themselves well under the 500 mark, anytime you can get a victory like they did last night, it makes everyone feel good around the ballpark, fans, front office, and in particular the guys in the clubhouse for working hard and coming from behind.
Absolutely, Tom. You know, they're trying to establish something around here right now, trying to feel a little bit better every night they go out there and play a little bit better, because it's really been tough around here all year. They have not played good baseball. One of the guys really trying to get back is Carlos Ruiz. Had a big series against the Dodgers. In fact, he had a 4-hit game. One thing you notice on these highlights, he's using the whole field. You see him hit the ball to right center field. Then he hits this ball out of the ballpark to left field. Here he comes again with this ball down the line last night, right over the bag for that double, and that tied the ball game, and then Michael Young would later win it with his hit to left field. So Carlos Ruiz right now is really feeling good about himself as far as home plate goes. He's always catching real well behind the plate and calling the game, but hitting right now, he is outstanding. 7 out of 12, the slugging percentage up over 1,000. It's one of those things where hopefully he can just stay relaxed and do the things he's capable of doing. When his swing gets a little bit long, that's when he gets in trouble. Right now it's a lot shorter.
So it's a lot shorter. He's back in the starting lineup tonight. We saw that base hit he had last night. That was off the bench, so you know he's feeling pretty good if he can swing like that coming off the bench. So it is the final game of this four-game series between the Phils and the Rockies. The first look for the Phillies at Chad Bettis, the right-hander, making his 5th start overall. And for Kyle Kendrick, he's making his 26th start of the year. He comes in with a record of 10-10. Well, Jake Diekman also, over the last handful of games, has looked a little different. The velocity on this fastball has been outstanding. Plus, the break on his slider has kept guys like Todd Helton off balance. Lineups at first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota's nationwide clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. And we're ready for baseball. The Phillies and the Rockies will finish up their season series tonight. The 4th game of this 4-game set. Mike Estabrook will be the home plate umpire tonight. Jim Joyce, the crew chief, is the first base umpire today. Jeff Nelson, with the stopwatch hanging out of his pants, is the second base umpire. And over at third base is Jim Wolf. Here's Jim Wolf, who had the plate in last night's game. Phillies take the field behind Kyle Kendrick. Phillies and the Rockies in the regular season. The Phillies, in their last 12 series, they've won 10 and they've tied another. They've lost only one series in their last 12, 17-4 in the last 21 games at Citizens Bank Park. These are numbers the Phillies have against the Astros the other way. But the Phillies have been rather dominant against the Colorado Rockies during the regular season. Let's take a look at the Rockies starting lineup for tonight. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in center field, Dexter Fowler. Corey Dickerson, left fielder, bats second. Troy Tulowitzki hits third. Michael Kadire, Willeen Rosario, and Todd Helton are 4, 5, and 6. Nolan Arenado, the third baseman, bats seventh. Batting eighth and playing second base, DJ LeMahieu. And batting ninth and pitching for the first time against the Phillies is right-hander Chad Bettis. And they'll face Phillies righty Kyle Kendrick, who's 10-10 this year. His earned run average is 4.36. The troublesome part of Kendrick's year has come in July and in August, although he wasn't bad in his last outing against the Dodgers.
Yeah, he's been getting hit around a little bit. That's the problem with Kyle. He's probably too many walks. Still is doing really well against left-handed hitters, but he ran into Kershaw last week. And, that was one of those things. He gave up runs, and the Phillies weren't going to score that night, it would appear. It appeared right from the beginning, and Kershaw just shut him down. Kyle Kendrick continues to try to use that changeup sinker mix, get ahead of hitters, get his ground balls. Lifetime against the Colorado Rockies, his record is 3-2 with a 5.47 earned run average. The key to him is to keep the ball down and throw ground balls. And it is time now for our Nissan Keys to tonight's game. Well, the Phillies have not won a whole lot of series. That's an understatement. So they're going to try and do that tonight. Keep the momentum going, as Tom was just describing. They have a good chance to do it. Well, they're playing a team that they've had success against, so we'll see what happens. And they can try and get KK, the guy they call KK, Kyle Kendrick, back on track and have him continue to pitch good baseball the way he was early in the year.
Last outing against the Dodgers, Kyle threw 21 pitches in the first inning against Los Angeles, 25 in the fifth inning, and that's why he wound up sticking around for just 6 innings. He allowed 2 runs. One of those runs was earned. Well, Dexter Fowler has a few words with Carlos Ruiz before he settles in. Switch hitter, batting left-handed. 4 hits and 11 at-bats in this series so far. He's also walked 3 times, so he's been on base. He's got a .500 on-base percentage in this series alone. First pitch, sinker low. We're underway. Fowler is a much better hitter, at least this year, right-handed compared to left-handed. Off the end of the bat, it's 1-1. He was retired last night in the first inning, batting right-handed on an outstanding play by Chase Utley at second base, a barehanded play. Phillies went on to win that ball game in their final at bat by a final 4-3.
Phillies with yet another center fielder tonight, and Roger Bernardine, as that ball goes into their dugout, first base side, and he's shading towards left center field. He is a left-handed thrower, left-handed hitter. He can really run out there and cover some ground. So Ryan Sandberg saying tonight he's just going to give him a start out there tonight and go from there.
On the inside corner, that's the pitch that wasn't working in the first inning against the Dodgers. The two-seamer that didn't run back the way Kyle wanted it to. Well, it did right there, and there's 1 out here in the first.
And that's a very important pitch to him against left-handed hitters especially. And he also needs an umpire behind home plate that'll stay with it. Now, that was a strike to anybody, because it caught a lot of the plate when it ran back over. But it can be very, very close a lot of times, and certain umpires don't really call that inside corner.
Well, with 1 away, here is Corey Dickerson. Dickerson has played a lot against left-handed pitching, playing tonight against a right-hander. Originally an infielder, playing left field tonight. Takes a changeup outside, 1 ball and no strikes. His average at .311, 2 home runs, 8 runs batted in. Saw him in game 1 of this series. 2 balls and no strikes. That one missed outside. That strikeout of Dexter Fowler was kind of surprising for Kyle because it's only his 9th strikeout here in the month of August. He's not a strikeout pitcher, of course, but 9 is still kind of low for Kyle. And he's just not getting the outside corner for Estabrook, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, and strikeouts, Tom, as you say, they sound good and they're important, obviously, in certain situations. But Kendrick, the best thing he can do is throw ground balls and get outs on his ground balls, and hopefully they hit him at people, and they're weak.
3 balls, no strikes. And at the knees, it's 3-1. Like the Phillies, the Rockies are using some young players at some positions. And Dickerson is one of those young players. Arenado is the other over third. He's played the whole year at third. Popped him up, foul territory. Ashe will give it a look, and it looks like he has room, and he makes the catch. During the 2013 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Now with 2 outs, Troy Tulowitzki. He's hit in 8 consecutive games. He's hit 2 home runs in this series. He has 22 for the year and 68 runs batted in. Ground ball back toward the middle, not hit hard. Rollins is there behind the bag, flips over to first, not in time. And Tulowitzki beats the throw. That'll be a base hit.
A big guy like Tulowitzki really hustled down the line, and as you said, it wasn't hit hard, and that was the key to the whole thing. They're playing him to pull, and he dribbles the ball up the middle. Had a heck of a chance to be a hit off the bat, and was. See where Jimmy is, way over in the hole. Now look where this goes. He dribbles it up the middle. The mound even slows it up more. He does all he can with it, trying to flip it over there to Michael Young. Tulowitzki smelled a hit and gets it.
And Jim Joyce over there looked like he made the right call. He was in perfect position to make that call. Now Michael Kadire. Kadire takes low and away.
Talking about Kyle throwing his ground balls and taking the sting out of them. That's exactly what he did there. But you also have that caveat all the time added to it that you hope they're at people. Same thing when they're hit hard. Well, he's just missing. If he can pitch like this tonight, he's going to have a chance to be competitive because even his misses are really close and they're out of the middle of the plate. These guys have been aggressive this whole week, and they're not real aggressive on him right now.
I wonder if part of that is the first 2 pitchers they saw were young pitchers for the Phillies. And they didn't know a whole lot about them. This guy they probably know a little bit more about. Maybe Walt Weiss and Dante Bichette. Maybe they have a different approach to a guy like Kendrick.
Well, any sinker baller, the key is to make him bring the ball up. And, maybe that's what they're trying to do with him.
2-1 to Kadire with a runner at first. Ground ball foul, 2-2.
Kadire thought the 2-0 was ball 3, and it was a little bit low, it looked like. Or it was in that same zone that he's been calling them low.
Was a changeup that hung up there. Fortunately, Kadire was out in front of it because if he wasn't, that would have gone a long way.
This guy's just a really good hitter. He got a big 2-strike hit last night. Everybody's okay down there.
They're just enjoying their dinner wheels. They weren't ready for a foul ball.
Not coming like that. You're never ready for one of those.
See what they choose to throw to Kadire. The 16th pitch of the inning from Kyle Kendrick. Fly ball right field. And Darren Ruff is under it. And the side is retired. No runs. An infield hit for Tulowitzki. 16 pitches for Kyle Kendrick. We go to the bottom of the first. Rockies nothing. Phillies coming up. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Michael Young, the first baseman, bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Dominic Brown and Carlos Ruiz. Darren Ruff's in right field. He'll bat sixth. In the bottom third of Ashe, Roger Bernardina making his first start for the Phils. And Kyle Kendrick, and they will face Chad Bettis out of Lubbock, Texas, in Texas Tech University. 4 starts so far for the Rockies. 0-2. He's up wheels from Double-A.
Right, a Red Raider from Lubbock, Texas Tech, as Tom said, and this guy's a pretty good prospect for them. Big time arm, evidently. Doesn't when you're right out of Double-A, a lot of times you really don't have a clue, and he's a little bit like that right now, where he can be all over the place and then has really good stuff. He has 4 or 5 pitches too that he tries to throw. See all the different pitches right there. Maybe that may be too much. You may have to eliminate something after a while, but for the most part, he's going to throw a fastball.
He's a former second-round pick by the Rockies, previously selected out of high school in the 8th round by the Houston Astros.
He only lasted 2 2/3 innings his last time. Gave up 7 hits, but he gave up 8 runs, but only 2 were earned as they were kicking it around on him.
Jimmy Rollins 1 for 10 in the series, 1 for 17 on the homestand. That one is into foul territory, left field line, out of play. And it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Last time out, threw 66% fastballs, and his next pitch, the change, curveball, cutter, they're all right around 9 and 8%. So he mixes up his off-speed pitches off his fastball.
Outside, 1-2. When you look at him and you look at his numbers and you look at how green he is, a lot of people compare him to some of the young Philly pitchers that they have in the rotation right now.
Well, when you come out of Double-A and you're pitching in the major leagues, you don't have a whole lot of experience. Now, as you said, he is a college pitcher, and that helps. You're not going to find too many high school kids coming right out, or kids that were signed out of high school coming right out of Double-A.
Rollins pops it up. Arenado, the third baseman, into foul territory. And there's 1 out.
It'll take them 3 years a lot of times, 3, sometimes 4 years to get from high school to Double-A.
1 out. Michael Young's coming up. He was the hero last night, or one of the heroes in last night's game. Wills mentioned that last night this would have been a double if the game hadn't ended. He really hit it hard.
Yeah, they would have 3 doubles in that inning. They didn't need it, though.
That 9th inning, the Phillies were 2 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They really needed to be because they were trailing it by 1. Prior to that, they had been 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And in the series, they had been 3 for 18. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2 to Michael Young.
That was the first breaking ball that he's thrown. He threw all fastballs to Jimmy Rollins. First ball fastball to Young. That looked like a harder one, a slider.
Shallow right field. That'll be a play for LeMahieu, the second baseman, and he makes the catch. 2 outs. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Alan Stern of Drescher, PA. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, and Al will win $100. Best of luck to Alan. Chase Utley's one home run in this series came last night. He is 3 for 18 on the homestand.
Here is that home run last night by Chase Utley. Got that fastball up, out, and over the plate. It was supposed to be a lot higher than that. You saw where the catcher was set up, and it was about a little below letter high, and he rocketed it out of here.
In the dirt, 1-1 to Chase.
Rosario's back behind the plate tonight. Pacheco caught the game last night when Rosario played at first base. They don't ever want to take his bat out of the lineup.
In fact, he caught the last inning of last night's game when Helton came on to play first base after he pinch hit. 2-1 Utley. Chase with 16 home runs, 47 runs batted in. 16 home runs, more than he hit last year, more than he hit the year before. That certainly has been a good sign, but aside from the oblique injury, everything else has been a good sign for Chase. A little topper foul.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for that, you wouldn't even think about his legs either. We wouldn't even be talking about injuries with him because his legs have been good all year.
Swing and a miss. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Side is retired in order. So the Phillies watch the Rockies go down rather quietly in their half of the first. They did the same, maybe even a little quieter. We go to the second. Coming to town, Total 1990s Retro Night. All fans 14 and under receive the John Kruk action figurine. Saturday 7:05, Sunday at 1:35 start. I would think his season kind of picks up after the 1st of September. Wouldn't you, Wheels, if he has to get back up to the North Pole?
That's a ho, 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 Tom. Yeah.
Well, I was watching the MLB Network today, and they were doing those Q&As with the players. They asked Michael Kadire what his favorite holiday was. He said, it's always Christmas.
Well, we're at the 22nd of August, so you're a little over 4 months It's hard to believe. Guess the stuff's in the stores already, right?
Here's Willeen Rosario, and he takes a change up. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Rosario is the leader among catchers in the National League in home runs with 19. He has 1 more than Brian McCann. McCann and the Braves are taking on the Cardinals tonight in St. Louis. They'll be underway in just a little while. Sinker low, 2-1.
Can't give up on that. He has to live down there because he can't live up in the zone. Now that was that comeback sinker that he throws to the left-handed hitters that you talked about earlier, Tom, that's so effective. And it can be to a right-handed hitter, although Rosario thought that pitch was outside, that it never got to the plate.
Well, now it's even 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the second. Kendrick has his signs, and he's ready to go. And it's 3-2. Rosario is also 3rd among National League catchers in extra base hits. As Todd Helton waits on deck. You know the leader in extra base hits for a catcher?
No.
Jonathan Lucroy of the Brewers.
Wow. Well, you got a lot of them here.
Lucroy and Buster Posey are 1 and 2.
Go back and look how many extra base hits he had against the Phillies this year. He hit a ton of homers here in that series. Then we went out there and he hit more. He hit another home run.
I guess I was just surprised. I just assumed it was Buster Posey.
Yeah, you would think so. So I guess Lucroy is wearing the whole league out, not just the Phillies.
Yeah. Time is called. Kendrick and Ruiz trying to get on the same page.
Well, he just threw him a 2-2 changeup and he didn't bite. Took it. Now they decide where they're going to go here. 3-2. He hasn't flopped that big old breaking ball up there yet. He does that every once in a while. Try to surprise a hitter.
3-2 pitch. Ground ball to third. Ashe to his left. Becoming an afterthought with Ashe over at third base as to whether he's going to get to 1 ball after another.
Good first move to his left too, and that's what it is. His footwork down that third base position.
That'll bring Todd Helton to the plate. Murph, educate us on Todd Helton.
Well, he's a pretty darn good player, I can tell you that, Tom. Phillies pitchers have actually done a real good job in this series against him. Just 1 for 9 in this series with a double back in game number 1 against Ethan Martin. But take a look at these numbers compared to other active players in Major League Baseball, where he ranks in some of these categories, and mostly all offensive categories. First in doubles, see second in on-base percentage, second in walks, 4th in runs and total bases. I mean, just about every single category you're looking for out of an offensive player, he is up there among active players right now. So certainly you got to watch Todd Helton because he is one heck of a player, guys.
Even though he's 40 years old, just turned 40, he's hitting .250 this year with 8 home runs and 40 runs batted in. But his on-base percentage alone is just a remarkable number. He had .417.
Yeah, he used to walk a lot. He's had a couple tough at-bats off Jake Diekman, who's thrown so well in this series. And Ryan Sandberg was talking about him before the game today and said that Helton came up to him and said, what are you doing with that guy that you sent me up against? And Rhino said, I said to him, what do you mean? Whoop. Look out, Murph. Coming right at you.
I'm being heckled down here now.
Well, you did the right thing by getting out of the way.
Well, I had the microphone. I couldn't do anything.
Hide the mic. And Sandberg said to him, or Helton said to him, what are you doing putting me up against that guy? He said, don't you know it was my birthday? He said, I had no chance against him. And Diekman got him again last night. It did make him look bad. Helton, you don't see him look bad that often.
Ground ball to shortstop. Rollins has time. He throws Helton out. Murph's right, though. They have done a nice job in this series against him. He's now 1 for 10 against Phillies pitching in this series.
Yeah, especially in those 2 situations with Diekman. One of them was a huge spot the other night.
So 2 outs. And Nolan Arenado.
This guy is really a good third baseman. He has tremendous athleticism down there. Made some great plays in this series. Almost almost climbed the ladder after that liner that was hit last night by Kratz, and that was scalded down that third base line.
Down the right field line, Chase Utley with a long run. Can he get there? He does, and he makes the catch going away. And the side is retired. 1, 2, 3 go the Rockies in their half of the second. Dominic Brown will lead it off when we return. '90s Retro Night. All fans 14 and under coming to Citizens Bank Park will receive the John Kruk action figurine. Now, those folks who are 15 and over would receive the retro prints. You can order your tickets by going to Phillies.com for the start of that 3-game series between the Phillies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. We go to the bottom of the second.
Oh, no.
Hey, Wheels, the Fanatic is here.
It's all coming in.
He's got some top secret information to
Oh,
deliver.
my. Can only imagine what's in there.
Fanatic, what's going on tomorrow night? Are you ready for it? Is that what's in there? Nice.
Got some old
Can I
friends?
look at it?
Got some old friends coming back? Yeah, there it is. Right, that's it.
This is what he has in the envelope. Oh, The Matrix. From 19... Wheels, did you watch? You're not a movie guy. No. Well, wait till you see the next one. Oh, this is great. Dominic Brown's going to lead it off. Fanatic, did you do these? Did you Photoshop these in? I like these a lot. Look at this. NSYNC 1998. Wheels, look at my guns.
Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
That is tremendous.
Somehow I had a feeling we were going to be in this.
Yeah. Murph actually looks the same in that picture. His hair's just a little darker. So, Fanatic, you got a lot of folks coming back then tomorrow. You excited about it? Dominic Brown just singled out to right field. That's a good start. You all ready to go? What are you going to be wearing tomorrow? Anything exciting? Oh, a mullet? Yeah. Who doesn't love a mullet?
How about doing the streak in it?
Hey, he doesn't have to choreograph your shtick. It's your shtick.
I love this streak. I just do. It's one of the best. Not in here, though.
Well, it's all part of 1990s Retro Night here at Citizens Bank Park. The Fanatic and all his friends from the 90s will be back. You looking forward to the John Kruk action figurine? Fans 14 and under will receive that. All right, well, Fanatic, we're going to keep this. We're going to autograph it. We'll frame it, and we'll give it to you. There it is. Look at Sarge. That is outstanding. Carlos Ruiz takes outside. It's up there with that Ghostbusters one. Remember the Ghostbusters one a couple years ago?
Oh yeah.
Now there will be plenty more of those looks back to the 1990 figures that made it such a great decade.
It is retro night tomorrow night.
Ruiz lines one to left field. He continues his hot hitting. So back-to-back singles.
You know, that's a perfect example we're talking about in the opening today. Look how short his swing was there. How he waits, and just lets it go. And when Carlos is struggling, he has that big, long, loopy swing. And right now, he's really short and quick. Watch right here. Just attacks. And then hits a line drive. And with that swing that he has right now that is shorter and quicker, he can also wait longer and hit the ball the other way. That we saw some of those highlights early on.
Getting some good swings against Chad Bettis.
Yeah, the first inning they were really late on his fastball, almost like it had late movement, or else he was hiding a little bit better. But they've hit 2 balls hard in this inning. The first one ate the second baseman LeMahieu up.
No balls, 1 strike to Darren Ruff.
Nice to take a lead in this game. If Darren Ruff were to make an out, make it towards the right side of the outfield, a fly ball or something like that, where a runner, Dominic Brown, could get to third base. Almost like he thinks he's going to get sliders the way he gets so much from right-handed hitters, and he's locking on some fastballs there that are hittable. And now he's in a vulnerable situation where he could throw a slider and have him chase.
Well, Darren 5 for 20 on this homestand. He has 3 hits in this series. 2 of those 3 hits have been singles. A single would do the job here. Lays off a breaking ball. They appeal. No swing. Brown going to third, and he is safe at third base. Whoa. He slid short of the bag and went over the tag.
Yeah. There was going to be a base running mistake there because he can't go with nobody out and make the first out over there. But as Tom said, I think the dirt is wet and it just made him pull up short. And Jim Wolf is going to say he stays with the play and Dominic is not tagged. Well, LeMahieu stumbles. He's safe. He missed him.
Never tagged him until he was already on the bag.
Well, and the reason was he stumbles. Watch him right there. See, he loses his balance, and then by the time he comes back, he doesn't get him. He was just trying to drop down to a knee, it looked like, and instead of that, he flipped himself a little bit. I'm just talking about how athletic he is.
Well, that was a solid call by Jim Wolf. Not because it went the Phillies' way. It was just a good call. A lot of times, sometimes umpires just the ball beat him.
Right.
Call him out.
Oh, he was going to be out by a lot, too, but that stumble was what caused it.
So a wild pitch puts runners on first and third with nobody out.
Carlos Ruiz did not advance.
Swing and a miss. And 1 away. Second strikeout for Bettis. And Cody Ashe's coming up.
That's what we're just talking about with Darren. He's taking those fastballs early, and then he gets himself into a count where maybe they're going to start throwing in sliders, and they threw 2 in a row, and he finally got him to the second one.
Ashe has 3 hits in the series. He has had a hit in each game so far. He is 4 for 19 on the homestand. Off the end of the bat, there's a base hit to left field. A little flare, and the Phillies take the lead. Ruiz on his way to third. The throw, he is safe at third base. Up to second goes Ashe. 1-0 Phillies.
Arenado's going, what? When am I going to get a call down here? That was really good base running by Carlos Ruiz. And then Ashe also follows along and winds up at second, as you said. Arenado had himself set up in a cutoff position there, too, and he had to get back. Watch the play right here. There's the base hit to left field. Now watch what the third baseman does. He gets him set up towards when he had to come back. He couldn't see it there, but he has to come back now. He's on the run, and by being on the run like that, now he has to make a swipe tag.
His foot was on the bag when he
was.
He just barely got him. It was when his foot was on the bag.
It was another good call.
So 1-0 Phillies. It's their third hit. It's a double for Ashe. And now Roger Bernardino with the infield in. He takes a breaking ball. It's 0-1. For Ashe, it's his 10th RBI. Bernardino this year hitting 178 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. Most of his at-bats have come as a pinch hitter.
They're going to play it up too, and hitting out of this 8-hole, they do have a base open, but there's only 1 out, and that means they'd have to deal with the potential of Rollins. But we'll see whether they give Bernardino anything to hit here too.
In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike. First pitch, as we mentioned, they were in on the grass. Now the middle infielders have gone back a few steps.
Right. What they're talking about with a pitch around, now they're going to go talk about it. If you do this with 1 out, what you're thinking, of course, is, all right, we have the bases loaded. We'll get the pitcher out, they hope. And then you have to deal with the leadoff guy with 2 outs. So that's why sometimes it's really tough to hit 8th, because you don't know what they're going to do with you here.
Guys that have gotten used to hitting 8th can usually read the situation.
Yeah, they have a better feel for it. But this is one of those tough ones, Tom, because you have to what their philosophy is whether they think, okay, we're going to deal with hopefully getting the pitcher out and then the leadoff man with 2 outs.
1 ball, 1 strike to Bernardino. Now time is called. Rosario called time. Bernardino has hit .304 in his career here at Citizens Bank Park, for what that's worth. In the dirt, 2-1.
There's your answer right now. They're trying to make him go fishing here early in the count. That doesn't mean he won't throw a fastball here, but the way they're approaching him, it looks like they're trying to get him to get himself out. The plight of the 8-hole hitter in the National League.
Fastball hit foul. And now it's 2-2 to Bernardino.
And they're, after throwing 2 breaking balls in the dirt, they came after him, and he's late. Understandable you'd be late. Now, if you're a hitter right now, you have no idea. All you have to do is look for it, hit it, or take it, because the pattern has been busted there with a fastball.
Swing and a miss. He got him with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That's 3 strikeouts for Bettis.
Well, they obviously decided to go after him. Man, that was impressive.
Guess maybe when they thought he was late on the 92, they would put it up a notch, go upstairs.
Yeah, pitch is out of the strike zone. You're not going to be able to do much with that pitch normally with that velocity.
Kyle has 2 RBIs this year. He's 6 for 46. Cutter for a strike. No, fastball, I should say, for a strike. That's some good movement on it, too. 0-1.
I don't know about Kyle here. He could shoot one to the right side. But you figure he's not going to pull this guy.
Got to figure he's just going to rear back and throw.
Right. You wouldn't think he'd do anything here to speed his bat up, although he did throw him 1 slider.
One-two pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a heater. That's 4 strikeouts for Bettis. The Phillies score a run on an RBI double by Ashe. We'll go to the 3rd. Phil's up by 1. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. Wheels, here's the question. Who was the first ever Rockies pitcher to make the All-Star game? That's a good question. Think back to their first few years. Were some of the pitchers that were successful. Fanatic is putting a little hex on DJ LeMahieu, who's going to lead things off there at the top of the third. I want to thank the Fanatic for providing us with some new opens to our Dodge Stump the Fans trivia question.
Yeah.
Long negotiations. We were finally able to get him to do that stuff.
Got him to do the streaker, too.
Folks enjoying a night out at Harry the K's. The young lady is something we don't usually see, Wheels. She was camera shy.
That's a great point. Most people, when they see that camera, they're gonna do a hey mom or something.
LeMahieu takes a strike 0-1.
Or if you're like Murph down there trying to duck foul balls.
All right, we know, Murph, if you didn't have the microphone, you would have been able to make the play. Gosh darn microphone.
No doubt about it, guys.
No doubt.
I had it.
Right. That was a real dribbler coming over there.
Yeah.
Oof.
I've learned one thing down here, and that is turn and run.
Good move.
Or duck under that net.
Yeah, that too.
Well, I don't know if that net would be that much protection for you, Murph.
It's pretty strong.
Almost looks like a hammock that they've lined up there. You have protection down there, it looks like?
Yeah, it's
police
pretty good.
protection?
I've got security. I got the police officers down here, so I'm well taken care of.
EMTs are nearby.
EMTs are close by.
That's a good thing.
If I do take one in the jaw. Yeah.
Here's the 2-1 pitch to LeMahieu. A little low, 3-1. As Wheels mentioned earlier, Kyle is just missing with some of these pitches.
Well, he's down where he wants to be, too. And not necessarily there, not necessarily strike, but not necessarily a low ball umpire, it would appear. If you're going to miss there.
And ball 4.
And they're not strikes, but they're really good pitches.
The man, the myth, the legend has returned, and he's only on PHL 17. Arsenio Hall is bringing the party back to late night TV. The Arsenio Hall Show premieres September 9th at 11 p.m. right here on PHL 17. I wonder what he did all these years when the show wasn't on. That is squares. He misses, and it's a strike. 0-1.
It's a great question. To put our crack research team on there.
Living off residuals of Coming to America.
That's a movie.
It was a very funny movie.
Eddie Murphy.
Oh boy, Wheels.
They'll dazzle you once in a while. I didn't see it, but I know they were in it. I don't see them necessarily, but I read about them. I read the reviews and stuff.
Put that on your list. Bad News Bears original.
Oh, yeah.
Stripes.
Right.
And that one. To the right side, diving, stopped by Michael Young. He just saved a hit, and he saved a first and third.
Yeah, that was really aggressive play there by Walt Weiss and the Rockies. They decide we're going to take the bunt off. Guys are moving all over the place, so see if my guy can slap one through the hole over there. And as Tom said, that's a tremendous play by Michael Young. He's charging, and now he has to lunge to his right, makes the play, gets the out. So it's like they bunted him over. But yeah, that's a first and third if it gets by him.
Everybody was moving toward the bag, too, if there was a need for some help. A one-out runner at second. Dexter Fowler, who struck out his first time up looking, is the batter for the Rockies. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
LeMahieu can be a little bit aggressive on the bases as we saw the other night, so they really have to stop him at second. Good play. Good hustle.
Wish she could have made her life easier and stopped and given it to somebody on the other side of the sign, but she stopped, looked, and then went to the right.
Really moving it there. That guy does like to jump around on the bases, and that's why they have to pay attention to him. jump around the way he does, you can sometimes put a play on and get him again. Maybe back there.
Foul tip, and Fowler's down on strikes for the second time. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Dodgers shut out the Marlins 6-0. I should say Clayton Kershaw shut out the Marlins. He had there was a 4 or 5 inning period. It was a 5-inning period. He threw 49 pitches. Wow. And then Brian Wilson came on to finish it off in the 9th.
That's what he did here the other night. He is just a machine right now.
Well, Wilson picked up 2 strikeouts in his appearance today for the Dodgers. The fastest fastball that he threw was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball against Giancarlo Stanton. The last pitch he threw was at 88 miles an hour.
Well, his pitch is a cutter anyway. That's what he lived on in those great years that he had with the Giants, was fastball cutter.
Yeah, I think the 88 was the cutter. I was surprised, though, when he hit 94. On the hands, behind the mound. Rollins is there, and Kendrick leads one in scoring position here in the 3rd. No runs, no hits. 1 man left after a walk. Middle of the 3rd, top of the order, due up for the Phillies. Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking?
Was in there today?
Did you experience good banking?
All the time when you go to a Citizens Bank.
Absolutely.
Center Square, Bluebell. They're great in there. Nice people. Lucy behind the desk is just great.
Lucy behind the desk?
Outstanding.
Do they give you a lollipop when you go into this?
Charlotte used to, but she's gone.
Really?
Yeah. Charlotte's a huge Phillies fan, and I think she retired.
Well, Charlotte, we hope you're enjoying your retirement. Wheels misses his lollipop.
She used to love to talk baseball when in. In fact, I always hoped things were going well when you went in, because Charlotte always had questions. Why isn't this working? She was a great fan. I'm sure she still is.
Jimmy Rollins leads it off here in the 3rd. Rollins popped out his first time up. Curveball drops in for a strike, 1-1. Curveball will be in the mid to high 70s.
Yes. He's going to roll one of them out once in a while. We talked about all the pitches that he throws, 5 different pitches. It's a good fastball, though. It's live. Real live fastball, looks like. It looks like it either has late movement or they don't pick it up out of that little short arm delivery he has. Because they've had some real late swings at him, too.
Breaking ball outside, 2-2. Toyota Major League scoreboard. They go to the bottom of the 12th. The Nationals and the Cubs tied at 4. Cubs trailed that one 4-1. And then Donnie Murphy hit a home run to tie it.
Yeah, the other Murph hit another one.
Rollins holds his swing. It's 3-2.
Guy started off his home run barrage here in this ballpark in that series. What, 3 of them?
Hit 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, he's had a few more since.
Michael Young's on deck for the Phillies. 3-2 pitch to Rollins. Taps it foul. Kind of an interesting thing going on in that Nationals Cubs game. David DeJesus, who started the year with the Cubs, in fact started the week with the Cubs, picked up by the Nationals off waivers. That's why Roger Bernardino was made available and the Phillies picked him up. Well, apparently DeJesus has been claimed off waivers by an undisclosed team. On the Cubs telecast, they said that team, they had heard, the team was the Tampa Bay Rays.
Right.
But he's still playing for the Nationals. They have until 1 o'clock tomorrow. The Nationals do. To either let him go or allow him to stay. So 1 out as Todd Helton takes care of Rollins.
And all that tied into that. They had a 2-hour rain delay. That's another reason why that game's so late.
Michael Young popped out his first time. Ground ball toward third, a foul ball. No balls, 1 strike. Ooh, let's say Michael Young went around. It's 0-2.
Yeah, they didn't have to appeal it to Jim Joyce. Home plate umpire had that one.
Ooh, that ball went right over the head of Chase Utley. Fortunately, went over the head of Chase Utley.
Wow.
And into the screen.
He had no time on that one. Thankfully, so look at this. He has no time. It's, you know, if it's at him, it's got him. That's what he's thinking with his head down. Boy, I'm glad that was high.
Yeah, now he's moved a little bit. Michael Young last night won the ball game for the Phils with the RBI hit to left field. It was the 3rd consecutive time when given the opportunity to win a ball game that Michael Young has won a ball game.
Right, he won the one the other night when he hit the ground ball to Ramirez that he kicked.
And then he won one against the White Sox.
Right.
It's a tapper over to second. LeMahieu throws him out. But did you know, Wheels, that prior to that, his previous 37 opportunities to end a game, he was successful once.
Oh, boy.
So 3 for his last 3, 1 for his last 37 before that.
Well, he was due. It's one of those stats that he's probably aware that he had struggled, but not quite that much. If you were to tell him that, and he'd handle it well. He handles everything. He is a real pro.
Well, I think his comments over the last several weeks have been right in line with even the comments that Ryan Sandberg has made. The comments that he made to Murph last night in the postgame about, you know, when you're playing the way the Phillies are at 14 under 500, the motivation is, hey, I'm putting on a big league uniform, getting paid a lot of money, playing in a great city, in front of a great crowd, great fans. That's the motivation.
Amen. What more do you need?
Millions would love to do it.
Really?
But only a handful have the ability to do it.
I know we kid around with that all the time. Somebody will say, how you doing today? I say, another day in the big leagues. What's wrong with that? It's a great life for all of us.
Utley takes the 3-0 for strike, 3-1. Jay struck out his first time up. Fouled that one off his leg.
Still wearing that guard on the front foot. That one was towards the back, the left foot. It looked like. No, it went off that. Went right off the guard or off that area. So it's great that he wears it.
Utley punches it into center field. A 2-out single. And that ball gets away, and it's going to roll over to the Rockies dugout. Utley's on his way to second, and he'll stop there. You're Walt Weiss, you're thinking, hey, get it together.
Really? Just throw the ball back into the infield. That's a routine play. Somebody will get an error on that. Fowler throws? Yeah.
Fowler threw it.
Let's see what happens. Throws it back into the middle of the diamond. Tulowitzki gets by him, then it gets by the pitcher. Chase Utley takes a look, bounce it back, and now here he goes.
I would think they'll have to give the error to Fowler in center field.
Yeah, they normally do on the throw, but it was really casual by Tulowitzki. He's got to catch that ball.
Yeah.
And then it was a tough backup for the pitcher.
It is an error charged to Fowler, his third of the year. Dominic Brown takes a strike.
And they take advantage of it.
Off the end of the bat, third base side, swinging bunt. Side is retired. Good play by Rosario to throw out Dominic Brown. Phillies leave a runner in scoring position here in the third. So we're through our first three. We move to the top of the fourth. The Phillies lead it 1-0. WB Mason delivers their fastball right down the middle 100% of the time. Order by 11:30 and receive your delivery same day guaranteed. Who but WB Mason? We go to the top of the fourth. Phillies up 1-0 thanks to an RBI double by Cody Ashe. Had some good pitching so far by Kyle Kendrick. Kendrick Sarge has allowed just the one hit, the infield single in the first. And that was off the bat of Tulowitzki, who will lead it off. He's kept the ball down today.
Getting ground balls and, again, knows how to pitch. He kind of has a game plan now on what he wants to do just about on every hitter. Feels comfortable with the pitches that he's throwing, and coming up with that changeup has helped him quite a bit.
Rollins able to throw him out this time. And what a way. Well, Sarge, remember back on July 4th when we were in Pittsburgh, we got a chance to talk to Ryan Hopkins and also specialist Hakeem Thomas. Both are from the Philadelphia area. In fact, Ryan's from Quakertown and Hakeem is from Philadelphia. And there's some of the other Phillies fans behind them who are serving our country. Well, Ryan is back home, and he is settled in with Murph out in the stands, and also with his wife. Murph, take it away.
All right, thanks very much. Yes, he is settling in. Been home for about probably less than 36 hours, right, Ryan? And I guess it's great to be home and with your wife Celeste here. And first things first, you got to come to a Phillies game, huh?
Exactly. Got home yesterday afternoon, and we came down today for the game.
Deployed in Kuwait. You were there for 9 months, and we talked about, Celeste, the moment that we were able to talk to Ryan on July the 4th. I know you were with family, gathered in Chicago and watching that as well. That must have been a pretty special moment for you.
Well, I actually flew out to Quakertown with his whole family, all the aunts and uncles and cousins, and Ryan came on TV, and it was so nice that we could all be together and see him from so far away. It was awesome.
Now, you guys met at Notre Dame and have been married almost 3 years. Ryan just home in time, guys. How smart is he? He gets home in time for his 3rd anniversary, which is coming up next week. But just being home and getting a chance to reacquaint yourself with the Delaware Valley after 9 months of, I would imagine, pretty intense work.
Yep. Hot weather, a lot of work. It was 18-hour days. It was the time went quick once you look back on it, but it was it was a good mission.
I should mention that Ryan is a captain in the Army National Guard, which is why he was deployed. His second deployment, first one was to Afghanistan, and I know you brought something special for both Tom and Sarge and Wheels. Why don't you explain what we have here?
Well, when you deploy, each military unit typically does a company coin or a unit coin. So myself and the first sergeant for our company came up with this coin for Drifter Company, Delta 109th Infantry. So we were in charge of security missions, so we put this coin together, gave a copy to each of the soldiers in the unit, and we had a couple extra copies made. So I'll give you guys a couple copies for Sarge, for Tom as well, and Chris Wheeler, yourself, and Jeff as well. So.
Well, I know I speak for those guys when I say it is really an honor to have a chance to talk to you guys again and to have those coins. Very special. Welcome home. Stay home for a while. I know you will now. Celeste, I know you're not going to let them leave for a while. And happy anniversary to you guys as well.
Thank you.
Guys, we'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you. And our thanks to Ryan. And that's great. That's pretty cool to see something like that. And it's nice to see him home safe and all of his men home safe and sound, too.
God, I really love those kind of things. And it is an honor to be able to have that. It would be a nice little keepsake for sure.
As Murph said, both Celeste and Ryan went to the University of Notre Dame. They open up the college football season next week when we're in Chicago, not too far. South Bend is not too far from Chicago, against Temple University. Rosario hits one to shallow right field. Long run for everyone. Ruff comes in, and he made the catch. What a play by Darren Ruff to close and put the second out on the board.
Well, I got to tell you, for a guy that hasn't been out there in the outfield, and that includes left field, you are looking at a guy that has done and made some great adjustments from spring training. Take a look at the concentration as he tumbles over. He's a pretty big guy, too. Going a long way, as Tom mentioned, to get this ball. He's going to stop to give him full range at it. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. I got it. Keeps his eyes right on the ball. Again, you got to have total concentration to catch the ball. That's just super play.
Well, 2 outs now in the 4th. And that'll bring Todd Helton to the plate.
Well, you're anticipating the ball coming your way on every batter. You can get jumps like that.
Right side, Utley waits for it. And that'll do it for the 4th inning. Well, very good job by Kyle Kendrick through 4 so far. He's allowed 2 soft hit balls. That's it. Play provider of your Phillies, and by Nissan. At Nissan's bottom line sales event, choose a better way to drive and save. Choose Nissan.com today. Last of the 4th inning, Carlos Ruiz, Darren Ruff, Cody Ashley on to face Chad Bettis out of Texas Tech. Now Darren Ruff just made a heck of a play. If he can hit, I think there's a spot for him in the outfield. I don't know what you think about that, Sarge, but I think it all comes down to if he can continue to hit and hit for power. I mean, this is a lot of athleticism right here to make this play.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Total concentration. And Rhino talked about his effort on a ball even last night. And the move from left to right and come over and still be able to do your job, and especially hitting wise, and he's going to hit better. That's what you want to do, especially on the defense. That'll keep you in ball games. A lot of the young guys being able to play good defense.
Well, Darren continues to say, I haven't had many challenges toward the gap. That'll be my biggest test. I still think a play like that is a big test. I know he's coming in, but he still has to be able to make the play.
Yeah, that's a tough play because you have that second baseman coming your way. But Utley smart, knowing that he couldn't get the ball, really stopped, and then that way you have Darren Ruff that can just go get it or dive for it, do whatever he wants, as opposed to colliding with that second baseman.
No balls, 2 strikes to Ruiz. Ground ball foul. And it remains 0-2. Well, Murph, this is the first time Ryan Sandberg's gotten a chance to see Darren Ruff, because last year Ruff went from Double-A right to the major leagues, and I know he's been rather impressed. So has Juan Samuel been pretty impressed with the way he's played. Yeah,
Ryan was asked about that today, Tom, but specifically about Darren Ruff's defense in right field. This pitch is going to get aboard. Tulowitzki can't handle that. And he had nothing. He's saying exactly what you guys are saying, that every test that he's gotten so far out there in right field, he has passed. And he says he looks very comfortable out there, which he's most impressed with, because he was really just put out in right field without a whole lot of preparation. He played a lot of left field in spring training, but no right field. And so Ryan Sandberg was saying exactly what you guys are saying, in that he looks very comfortable out there, and that if he continues that, he's definitely find a spot on this team as long as the bat is there as well.
He had 2 hits in last night's ball game. He struck out his last time up. He's got Ruiz at first, who reaches on an error by Troy Tulowitzki. Darren now 5 for 21 on the homestand. Takes low, 1 ball, no strikes.
Take a look at Tulowitzki there. That ball hits right on the hill. That's a ball, though, he should be able to catch right near that thumb area. It's a difficult pitch again. All hitters will go through that. Pitch that you can't really handle. It's up to him to be able to work on that, and you can. He already has the God-given talent to hit that fastball. Now just a little more consistent on the off-speed pitches. Now you got to play. And don't guess.
Is he guessing there?
Yeah. And usually, too, though, because I say he's guessing, he's a fastball hitter. There's a fastball, unless he thought it was outside. But I'm not going to look for a pitch I can't hit, and that slider down and away, boy, I tell you, give you nightmares.
That was low, 2-2.
That does throw hard. No, just difficult though in setting up the hitters because he's all around the plate.
That one's out toward right field. Kadire going back toward the scoreboard, has room, makes the catch. Ruiz better hurry and get back to first base. The throw not in time.
Ooh.
Carlos could hear the reaction of the crowd, and I think he was going along with them that would at least hit the top of the scoreboard. But Kadire just had enough room to make the grab.
Well, the rule of thumb too on that, you go as far as you can to be able to get back. That's exactly what he did. Put his head down, didn't look at him, and went right back at him. First base. Helton trying to cheat. Catching that ball and getting off the bag.
Cody Ashe doubled his first time up. That drove in the run. And the Phillies have. They lead it 1-0. Ashe broke his bat on that double. You know that by the sound, but you also know it by the fact that that is a brand new bat that he's got in his hand.
You don't mind a bat cracking, especially if you end up getting a hit and an RBI with it.
Right side. LeMahieu goes to second. That's all they'll get. And Bernardina's coming up for the second time. MLB.TV celebrates 11 years. Catch the rest of the 2013 season in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. Bernardino struck out his first time up. It's a curveball for a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, already just looking at him swing for the first time, I'm going to have to really get on that fastball. Struck him out on a fastball. That was a slider right there that he had just taken almost right down the middle.
Bernardino Sarge back in 2010 did hit 11 home runs for the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
I mentioned last night, I just don't think didn't think Davey Johnson was a big fan for some reason.
Well, one of the reasons, though, Sandberg likes him is because he says he's a good athlete. He wants the team to get a little bit more athletic. Therefore, he can put players in different positions.
That ball goes right on past Wilton Rosario and back to the screen. They scored a wild pitch. 41st with Rosario behind the plate.
Yeah, his tools are more offense than defense. As you see that ball going right through the 5-hole. Just didn't get down on it. Got to get down on that ball. That he told him, hey, think where you're throwing this ball. You got that pitcher.
And a balk is called on Bettis. And Ashley goes over to third. Well, they're calling balks left and right in this series.
Rice asked him, what did you do? And he motioned to him. Take a look. And he kind of just moved or rocked a little bit.
And a called strike 3 on Bernardina. So the balk doesn't matter. Bernardina's down looking. And the Phillies do not score here in the 4th. No runs. No hits. One man left at third. And Roger Bernardina takes a fastball at the knees he thought was low. But Mike Estabrook thought it was right there. Starting September 23rd, catch the #1 comedy in America twice a night. All your favorite characters like Phil and Cam, all your favorite scenes, all your favorite episodes. Modern Family premieres September 23rd at 7:30 and 10:30. Top of the 5th, Nolan Arenado leads it off. Utley made a nice play his first time up. One ball, no strikes. Back toward the middle. That's going to sneak into center, a base hit. So Arenado's aboard with a leadoff single here in the 5th. Sarge, last outing for Kendrick, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. Lost 5-0 to the Dodgers. Pitch count was an issue. Tonight, nowhere near an issue. 50 pitches with nobody out here in the 5th. Rich Doobie, Mick Billmeyer, Rod Nichols, all the guys that work on Kendrick's bullpens, working on getting downward plane, getting the sinker to just do that, sink.
Yeah.
And tonight I think it's doing that.
When you get on top of the ball and throwing downward, you're going to get some sink. Not as much when it's from the side. But just the confidence, though, that he shows out there and his whole demeanor on the mound, getting ground balls after ground balls here so far. He's not afraid to pitch to contact, and when you can't throw the ball 95, 96, you have to be able to do that.
There's a line drive over the glove of Utley, a base hit. Ruff gets to it, and Arenado stops at second. Back-to-back hits, runners on first and second, and it means that Bettis could be up there to try to sacrifice the runners up into scoring position.
Well, that was just not getting up high enough on that. Stretched out, line drive right over his head, and that ball was smoked. Just going to go over the play with him and tell him exactly what's going on. Kyle Kendrick, a good athlete, so any ball in that vicinity toward him, he should be able to get. And back of his mind, he needs to be thinking, hey, I want to try and get that runner at third base. So he wants to get on that bunt as quick as possible.
Bettis does bunt toward first. Ruiz has to sidestep him. And the runners do move up. Sacrifice is successful. 2-4 on the put out. One away, two in scoring position. Now the top of the order is coming up. Arenado at third, LeMahieu at second. By the way, Sarge, if anybody's scoring at home, Carlos Ruiz's ball in the fourth inning that was originally charged an error to Troy Tulowitzki has now been changed to a base hit. I think this guy's a Gold Glover and should have made this play.
Oh, I'm right with you. Definitely, and really, even Ash's ball I didn't think was a double, but that play we talked about a little bit earlier there. I thought the ball, he should have been able to catch that ball. And
out toward left field, Dominic Brown sets up, makes the catch. Arenado's coming home. Here's the throw to the plate by Brown on one hop. He is safe at the plate. And Arenado may be hurt. Carlos Ruiz is saying he never got the plates. And it's a 1-1 ball game. Sac fly for Fowler. Ryan Sandberg comes out to chat with Estabrook. Estabrook hasn't missed any calls in this series. He's been quite good at second base, at first base.
Yeah, I kind of thought he got in. Just take a look at it and see what you think. Carlos doing a good job blocking the plate. That's what he's talking about. Look at his foot right there. That's what I was thinking, that he got in. He actually ended up banging against the shin guard is the reason why he's getting up so slowly. But take a look at this gun. Good throw by Dominic Brown as that ball one hopped right there. Almost kind of slowed up a little bit when he got it in. But that's just one of those plays. Bang, bang. Good play all the way around.
All right, so now 2 outs. Runner at third. Dickerson, the batter. He takes a changeup for a strike. It's 0-1. Trainer taking a look at Arenado in the background there.
I thought he had a good chance to gut him out. Had his momentum going toward home plate the way that he needs to. Guys have improved in that outfield.
Yeah, it just seemed like it hit the grass and it didn't kick the way you'd like it to.
Yeah, you would like for it to hit the grass and kind of speed up, if you will, and that one just hit the grass and kind of really slowed up. Still a terrific throw, however.
One ball, one strike to Dickerson. Tulowitzki on deck. LeMahieu takes his lead off third.
He's been throwing change-ups. Leaves a ground ball.
There he goes. Kendrick does a nice job fielding it on the glove side. So the Rockies tie it up on a sac fly by Dexter Fowler. That scores Arenado. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Rockies and Phils even at 1. Three-game series against the D-backs. They wind down their season series, and all fans 14 and under will receive the Phillies backpack, compliments of ShopRite. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. That's a sharp-looking backpack, Sarge.
Yeah, it is. Nice models, too, on the backpacks. Get a lot in it.
You don't want to leave that, though, on the bench, Sarge.
Yeah, well, might want to put your name in.
That's right. Arenado at third. He's fine after scoring the tying run. Kyle Kendrick leads it off. Kendrick bunts. And it's 0-1.
Not a bad idea. Trying to push that ball toward, it seems, second base.
One ball, one strike.
I think slowly but surely that most of the players will get a chance to understand Ryan Sandberg, his style of managing.
Well, if one thing that has stood out, whether this is designed or not, he's been very honest. When we've talked to him, when folks in the media have talked to him, you know, case in point today, Ryan Howard. You know, Ryan is going to start baseball activities very shortly, and Ryan Sandberg was asked, you know, would it be good for him to come back this year at some point if he's healthy? And he said that he thought it would be counterproductive for him to come back, that they would prefer to have him come back in 2014 in spring training. And the goal is to have him in perfect shape next year.
Well, for me, if he's 100% and he feels he's ready and it's 3 weeks to go before the season is over with, I got to see what he can do. Ryan's Howard, big part of this club, and we've seen him before when he's hitting. No one else on that club usually has to really hit. He can carry the ball club there. Jimmy Rollins flies out to left field. But Ryan Howard, more than any other player, can carry them because he's able to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Hasn't been able to stay on his backside. One of the reasons he's been having so much trouble. But the fact is, and we talked about it, he makes everybody else better, especially the players that are in front of him. You know, and Rhino's talking about, for sure, being in good shape and then making sure that you are 100%. If you are not 100%, no, it is counterproductive because you'll be limping and not going out and playing or swinging the way that you're capable of swinging.
Well, we mentioned yesterday that Ryan has dropped some pounds during his rehab. And it sounds from what Ryan Sandberg said that not only they want him to do that, but also to keep getting in better shape. And that ball has been dropped. They're going to say that he took it out of his glove, so the out is recorded. Well, we've had that play a handful of different times during the course of the last 2 years and even beyond. But the second base umpire, Jeff Nelson, went out. Fowler nonchalants it, puts the ball in his hands. That's the same play that Ben Revere had earlier this year. So interesting. It's a different perspective from different umpires. We'll go to the 6th here in South Philadelphia. To be Cole Hamels, who has turned it up several notches since the beginning of July. The Phillies left-hander, who struggled for results through his first 17 starts, has delivered a 2.05 ERA in his last 9 starts. In 8 of those 9 starts, Cole has pitched 7+ innings, allowing 2 earned runs or less. During the current month, Cole has allowed just 5 earned runs in 31 innings while walking just 2 batters. The lefty has been a much-needed pick-me-up to the rotation. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, we go to the top of the 6th. Troy Tulowitzki will lead things off against Kyle Kendrick. First pitch is a strike. It's 0-1. Cole Hamels, by the way, will start tomorrow against Wade Miley of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Ethan Martin starts Saturday against Randall Delgado. Tulowitzki is 1 for 2. He reached on an infield hit his first time up toward the middle. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, just to give you a little context, we're going to show you Revere's play earlier this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that last play by Fowler. Again, the rule book is open to interpretation by the umpires. They can make their own judgments. They're allowed to, it seems, whether you agree or disagree. And not that it's a huge deal, but maybe it could have been. But Jeff Nelson, who was in perfect position, he was out. He went all the way out. You can't fault him on that. Made a totally different call than what we saw earlier this season when Ben Revere went into the alley in right center field to track down a ball and then dropped it when he was taking it out of his glove. Tulowitzki lines it to left center field. Dominic Brown gets over to it. Here's the one tonight. Sarge, just walk us through this again. Now, it has to be a perfect exchange.
Well, you know what? I've always thought it. I thought once you catch the ball and then you take a few steps, but the rule is you have to have control of the ball.
She never did.
That is not control of the ball. June 23rd here. Take a look at this play. This was by Ben Revere there. Take a look He nonchalants it, and then they said, oh, well, it's a no catch. He did the same exact thing. Just a little bit different height on the ball, but certainly the same thing.
And Lagares went all the way to third on that play. First pitch to Kadire's inside. It's 1-0.
Should be kind of clear cut. I mean, either he has to take it out of his hands, but we've seen it, and how many times have you seen it there at second base on a transfer on a particular throw or almost throw going to first base?
Now, by rule, when they talk about the perfect exchange from glove to hand, the Revere call was the right call, that Lagares should have been at third. By rule, unless we're missing something, maybe we are, the last call was the wrong call. 1-1 to Kadire. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Yeah, I did that same thing in Atlanta on a ball hit by Dave Kingman when I was playing right field. I went up, ended up catching the ball going over the fence, and in jubilation, after being on the field, coming back, the transfer, the ball dropped on the ground, and they still gave me the out on that. So, again, it is up to the umpire, but when you've taken a few steps, you got to think that for sure that it's an out.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Kadire.
And basically, too, it's more of a lack of concentration. And Fowler's, in his case, I thought he was just trying to be a little bit too cute, if you will, in catching the ball and then throwing it, and actually end up dropping it. But I thought it was a catch. But again, umpires look at it differently. Sure didn't have it as Ben Revere. Wasn't a catch for him. He ended up getting an error out of that.
Well, if Ben's watching, and he normally is watching.
Oh, he's watching.
He's thinking, as soon as that play was made, he was thinking the same thing. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Kadire with a runner at first. Off the end of the bat, and it remains full. Kadire reached on a ball that went just under the glove of Rollins his last time up. It would have been a hit no matter what.
Kadire's had this bat pretty long time that he's using. Can always tell that pine tar on the bat very thick.
Line drive, base hit to left, so back-to-back singles for the Rockies. And that puts runners on first and second. It'll bring Willeen Rosario to the plate. And he is the subject of our Hyundai defensive play of the game. It was his last at bat, and this was a great play by Darren Ruff.
Well, no doubt about it. He ended up getting a good jump. Not only that, the concentration as he tumbles, showing some athleticism as he catches that ball. I got it. Eyes right on it. Soft hands. Some grass stains there. That is your defensive play of the game there by Hyundai.
Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Rich Doobie out to the mound to talk to Kyle Kendrick. This is a tough spot. It's a 1-1 game here in the top of the 6th. Kendrick has Rosario, Helton, and Arenado that he has to deal with nobody out. Rosario's hit in 12 consecutive games coming into tonight's ball game. There's 67 runs batted in, second to Tulowitzki for the team lead. Just off the outside corner, 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, you have these two guys hitting in front of you. They're going to be on the majority of the time. Tulowitzki, Kadire, both those guys hitting 300. So that gives Rosario some chances. The chances you have to drive them in, the easier it is. And just get used to guys being on base.
Out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike. Oh, nice catch. With that catch, we take a look at what happened out in Wrigley Field. The Nationals defeated the Cubs 5-4 in the 13th. Art Span scored the game-winning run. Ryan Zimmerman had 3 hits, including a home run. That gave the Nationals the early lead. The Cubs tied it in their half of the 9th on a home run by Donnie Murphy. That one's hit well deep to left field. It's a bullet and it is gone. A 3-run home run, and the Rockies have taken the lead here in the top of the 6th.
See Kyle shaking his head, wanting that pitch back. You mess around inside again with these power hitters, you got to make sure that ball's inside. Other than that, they're going to clear that hips, and that big part of the barrel is coming around, and you are going to have some problems. Take a look at it. See how that ball came right back into the swing. Look at that, hitting against his front foot. He knew the ball was gone, and everybody else did. Just a matter of how far that ball was going to go. Line drive.
Well, that's 20 home runs now for Rosario. He's hit in 13 straight. He takes over the team lead in RBIs. As Zach Miner starts to loosen up in the bullpen for the Phillies. Here at the top of the 6th inning. All right, so nobody out. Kendrick trying to settle back in.
And these ground balls, that's 3 line drives in a row. I tell you what a bullet. You take your normal stance there, and you're looking just to drive, hit a line drive, and then it's a 2-seamer where the ball comes right back into the fat part of the bat. Boy, oh boy.
You miss those days, don't you?
Oh, I do. I get excited. I do. I just always want to be able to win, but like to see good hitters hit. Kyle shaking his head again. He wanted that ball, I'm telling you, down where those guys have been able to hit ground balls. I think when you're through playing, the one thing that you miss probably more than anything is that one-on-one competition there with the pitcher. And that's what really separates the men from the boys, so to speak, especially in those crucial situations, 8th and 9th inning.
Served that one right out into left field, a base hit. So Helton's aboard with nobody out still here in the 6th inning. That's 4 straight hits. That one not hit as hard as the others.
No, not hit as hard, but the thing about that stroke, he was going that way. Made it easy for the base hit, and the ball was up.
Well, Ryan Sandberg's going out to get him, so that's going to be it for Kyle Kendrick. He's not giving him another batter. Arenado is due up. Kendrick, with just 78 pitches, had been cruising along through 5 innings, but he's allowed 3 runs here in the 6th, including a 3-run home run. And he'll leave trailing it by 3 here at the top of the 6th inning. So this is an AT&T call to the bullpen. Waleed Rosario's home run here at Citizens Bank Park has given the Rockies the lead, and Zach Miner's coming in. At first, pitching change. Zach Minor's coming into the ball game, so the Phillies dip into their bullpen. It's time now for our cold hard fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Phillies relievers have not allowed an earned run in 22 of their last 26 individual appearances. The bullpen has a combined ERA of 2.33 over the last 8 ball games. So, they've kind of pieced it together as this year's gone on.
Yep.
And there have been times where they've been roughed up, but there have been other times where, like Diekman last night, where they were able to do the job.
Yeah, Diekman's been filthy. It shows you, though, I mean, when he throws strikes, what he can do.
Arenado is the batter against Minor. The first pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. I believe he thought that was a tad low. Inside. Dribbler toward third, charging Ashe, has to hurry, gets it there in time to get Arenado.
Good decision. Didn't even take a look there at second, even though Todd Helton these days, not a fast runner, just going on and taking the out. This game is still a manageable game where the guys will be able to come back if they can get some base runners. Good, hard, strong throw. Soft hands. Look at that exchange there. The one thing he does, surrounds the ball to make sure that he gets his hop.
LeMahieu's 1 for 1. He walked his first time up, singled his last time up. Back toward the middle. Rollins is there. Goes to his left. And there are 2 outs. Well, I think it's safe to say that Cody Ashe is a major league third baseman defensively. I don't think there's any question about it. I don't think there's anything he's missing defensively. Do you agree?
He gets good jumps on balls. He goes from left to right, and more importantly, once he catches it, he's able to throw it and throw it right there on the line. Again, too, when you're playing that infield, you have to anticipate just about every hitter coming up there that they're going to hit it your way in order to get a good jump on the ball, left or right.
Outside and low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball, shallow right. Chase Utley is there. Darren Ruff pulled back at the last moment. Side is retired, but some damage done. A 3-run home run by Willeen Rosario, his 20th of the year, has given the Rockies a 4-1 lead. Time for a trip to the Majestic Clubhouse store. you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. It's the kind of night to sit back and enjoy a ball game.
Yeah.
If you're at home, sit back, throw your slippers on, kick your feet up. There's Zach Minor with the jacket on. Minor came on and got 3 outs at the top of the 6th inning after the Rockies had taken the 4-1 lead. First 5 innings, Kyle Kendrick looked as good as we've seen in a while. I thought in the 6th inning the ball was just up in the zone a little bit.
Yeah, he got it up in the zone, and really Rosario, that was a pitch that I don't know if he was trying to get it on the outside part of the plate or wanting to get it in all the way. Nevertheless, went over the heart of the plate. This guy's got some serious power. There's no question about that. Hitting in a pretty good ballpark for him in Colorado. But he can hit him out of any ballpark. He hits the ball out center field, right field.
Well, last to the 6th, the Phillies down by 3 against Chad Bettis, making his 5th major league appearance. Utley is 1 for 2. He singled his last time up. Struck out his first time.
They can get a few more base runners on it and see how Bettis will react. That's why it's so important to have really quality and good at bats. Those some of the other things that Ryan Sandberg talks about. Wear the pitcher down mentally by good at bats, and that is from top to bottom.
Two one is pulled foul, and it's 2-2.
All fastballs so far, very predictable. That's what you want your pitcher to do. Is if you have a good fastball, you use it, especially when you have a lead.
Yeah, and for Bettis, that guy made a nice play off the bounce. And for Bettis, if they stay with the 100 pitch total, which is the neighborhood that their starters usually venture, then he can afford to throw fastballs at this point because he's winding down this appearance. Be aggressive up by 3.
Good point.
Outside ball 4.
Quality at bat.
Wilton Lopez throws in the pen. Jim Wright out to the mound to talk to Bettis and to bring in Tulowitzki and Rosario. Well, the Phillies come off this next road trip, which will take them to New York and Chicago. They'll take on the Washington Nationals. It's a 3-game series. All 3 games are at 7:05. The 2nd of September. It's a Hatfield Phillies Frank Dollar Dog Night. You can order your tickets at Phillies.com for that 3-game series against the Nationals, who needed that win today. They pulled within a game of 500, but they're still 14.5 out in the division.
to kind of move him some kind of way with single, double. Just want to square the ball up. Dominic obviously can reach the seats, especially in right field.
To the right side, Helton makes the play. Has a play at second for one, over to first, not in time.
Hard sinker.
Oh, now Carlos Ruiz, he's 2 for 2, and he's now 9 for 19 on the homestand. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
He's going to come alive with that bat. Look at that average, all the way up to 276, and I'm sure he's feeling a lot better. That's why I say you can do all the rehabbing that you want down in the minor leagues, and you get back to the major leagues. It's just a different animal. Guys are able to put the ball where they want a lot better than they do in the minor leagues.
Outside 2-0 to Ruiz. Well, Lopez is ready if they need him.
Titan Field's got to get back to getting multiple hits there in a row. You got to have 2 or 3 hits there in a row. That really will. That'll start your attack.
That ball is ripped into left field, a base hit. It's cut off by Dickerson, so that holds ground at second. Carlos Ruiz is 3 for 3.
I'm going to tell you, that ball was just scalded that he hit into left field. Dickerson making a great play, however, because if he doesn't cut it off, fastball there, look how he just gets right on top of that. He has slowed everything down, not jumping at the ball as Dickerson comes in, backhands the ball to keep Dominic Brown right there at second base.
Well, that's going to be it for Bettis, as Walt Weiss takes a very slow stroll out to the mound. So they'll credit him with 5 1/3. This is probably the best work he's done this year as a major leaguer. So his night is complete. His line is not. He'll turn things over to his bullpen. Phillies down by 3, and here comes Wilton Lopez. to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and grab your seats today. Wilton Lopez will take over for Chad Bettis. Lopez came running into the game, his 62nd of the season, 2-4 with an ERA of 4.22. He didn't come in running as quickly as Todd Coffey did during his career as a reliever. Ruff takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Now these are the situations here that you want to have that quality at bat. Just square the ball up. Not necessarily caring where it goes. It's in the driver's seat now. It's good so far. He's taking the ball away. Now he took a 2-seamer inside running in, so he should be able to gauge that ball.
Two and 0 to Ruff. He's upset with himself because it was a pitch that he felt like he could hit. It was up in the zone.
The more experience that he gets, he'll realize too, though, those are the type of pitches you want to square up. No, you've worked yourself to get to the count 2-0. And you don't want to be late or in between thinking when you're up at the plate. You got to stay with your strength. And his strength, for me, and looking at him so far, is being able to stay on the fastball. But I've asked him this before. He says he doesn't guess. No, he says he stays on the fastball, but because having been a hitter and going through it, I do know at times you will go up there and guess.
Ground ball towards short. That might be 2. Tulowitzki to second for 1. Over to first in time. A 6-4-3 double play. And the side is retired. So Lopez faces 1 batter, gets 2 outs. We've played 6. We go to the 7th. Rockies lead it by 3 over the Phillies.
Well, time for your local Honda dealers game summary. Fanatic having a lot of fun in the stands and in this booth tonight. It was really great to see him up here as always. Willeen Rosario, boy, he's killed the Phillies in this series. 3 homers and 7 runs batted. And Chad Bettis, good-looking young pitcher, got him into the 6th inning, and then Lopez came in through the double play ball to get him out of it. Cody Ashe has the only RBI for the Phils tonight. A double. Kyle Kendrick, he was really down in the zone, it looked like, early in the game, and then I guess he started to come up a little bit, and he got hurt.
Well, Zach Miner will begin the 7th by facing the top of the Rockies order. Trying to keep this at a 3-run deficit. Fowler has an RBI and a sac fly. He has struck out a couple times. Swing and a miss. How about that play that Fowler made in center field? It was the exact play that Ben Revere had earlier this season, and it was called differently.
I was thinking the same thing. I was listening to you guys over there, and I've no doubt in my mind we're going to go back and find that video from the Mets game. His was more flagrant tonight than Ben's.
Well, and I think it was because we're looking at it, Wheels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we can see it clearly. The ball is not under control.
No,
and then,
not at all. But that's one of those ones where you just say, forget it. So what? It's the third out of the inning. That's what they should have done. Now, if there's runners all over the place, and I guess you have to look at it more carefully. Remember, that was a minor league umpire here that day that called that at second base. So it was like he was more tuned into that at a AAA level than, say, the big league guy.
Well, Jeff Nelson, and like I said, he was out there. He didn't just stay right where he is now. He went all the way out.
And here's the one that Ben had right here, and he nonchalants a little bit. He goes to reach for it, and then he just misses it. Comes out of his hand, hits the ground, and then they called it. McGarth's got the third on that play.
He did,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
Fowler went around.
Yeah,
Mike Estabrook says, you didn't hear him.
Yeah, he did. That's one of those things you'll hear me on. Did he go? Yeah, he did. There you go. And he goes. It's a good call. Home plate umpire had that one all the way. You see them point like that at the hitter, they're going to ring them up.
Guys had a good series. Estabrook.
Yeah, he's right all over the place. Had the call at the plate right on. Guy made a heck of a slide. Went right over Carlos's foot and hit the plate. A lot of times you see a guy block the plate like Ruiz did. The foot will go up in the air. It'll never get on the plate. You can tag him. His foot went on the plate somehow. Zach Minor in that thankless role right now, middle relief. There's Arenado. Mentioned earlier what a good looking athlete he is, and I think that was another example of it.
One ball, one strike. And that one's popped up.
All the Minor has is so important in a game, and it doesn't show up a whole lot in the box score. But to try and keep it where it is, for example, last inning, the Phillies had the tying run at the plate because he pitched a score or got out of that inning and kept it right where it was.
These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. We got him reaching. Michael Young in foul territory makes the catch. 6 up, 6 down for Zach Minor. Nice job out of the bullpen. Nice catch by that guy. Time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies down by 3. Who was the first ever Rockies pitcher to make the All-Star game, Wheels?
I have no idea.
We'll give you a hint in a second.
I don't. All you think about their guys are hitters. All that offense that they had. What year was it?
It was later. It wasn't early.
Well, yeah, they didn't have any pitching.
Off the plate, no balls and 2 strikes. It was 2001.
Oh, and they came into existence in '93.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a hint, Wheels, right there.
What, a backpack?
Yeah.
They're going to school. Oh. I got to guess.
As she fouls it back.
Was it? Could it have been the pitcher who said that he signed with the Rockies not for that big contract, but because the school system was so good?
It could be him.
That's Mike Hampton.
That is correct.
Wait, what's the way? Give me a hint that works. Thank you.
Outside, 1-2.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's it's surprising that it took that long.
Yeah.
But they were an offensive-minded team. As she's down on strikes, 1 out. Here at the bottom of the 7th.
We got right-handed hitter last inning. Look, he threw a slider to rough to get the double play ball. Now left-handed here, he throws him a good changeup, strikes him out. Lopez does a nice job.
That'll bring Roger Bernardino up for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2. He has struck out twice tonight. 0 for 3 so far since he arrived yesterday. He's a pitch hitter in last night's game, and it's 0-1. Casper Wells has jumped out in the on-deck circle to pitch hit. Chopper to short. Tulowitzki throws him out. 2 outs. Yeah, with 2 outs, we mentioned that Casper Wells is coming up. Let's check in with Murph with the Major League Notebook. Murph?
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy College. And a quick note on the former Phil Delman Young is back in baseball, back with the Tampa Rays, the team that drafted him back in 2003. He has signed a minor league deal with the team. He's going to report to their Double-A club, but hopes to be obviously called up in September for the Tampa Rays. And Ryan Braun has finally issued a statement and an apology about the incident, the PED incident that ended his season. It resulted in the suspension. Finally coming clean today and apologizing, admitting complete fault, taking complete blame for his actions. One interesting note in the statement, he said that he was the one that initiated the second conversation with Major League Baseball in order to come clean. He apologized to teammates and to the Milwaukee organization, and also by name to the original collector of the first sample that got him into so much trouble. It's a lengthy statement that's obviously out on the internet right now, but he is hoping that next year he can start with a clean slate and come on back and do it the right way this time. But taking full blame. Said he was kind of in denial and trying to convince himself that he didn't do anything wrong when all the time he knew he really did. So it's very interesting and certainly worth the read for baseball fans, guys.
Yeah, he said, I want to apologize for my actions and provide a more specific account of what I did and why I deserve to be suspended. As Casper Wells shatters his bat, I have no one to blame but myself. He said he took an unspecified cream and lozenge in 2011 in attempts to return from an injury. He called it a huge mistake for which he is deeply ashamed. Now, if you believe that, there's no reason not to believe it, but there is also apparently a pending lawsuit from a friend from college who, in that lawsuit, he says that Ryan Braun used performance-enhancing drugs throughout his college career, too. But, again, there's nothing founded on that as of yet.
Well, his reputation's basically shot.
Sure.
That's a step back to at least finally apologize, especially to that collector.
The collector, Dino Lorenzi Jr., is the one he apologized to.
That's good, because that guy did nothing wrong, and he was attacked unfairly.
Yeah, apologized to him by name in the statement, which I think was an important part of it. And also, guys, he made it very clear that all of the folks that were by his side and said there's no way that Ryan Braun did this and he's telling the truth, he insists that none of them knew that he was lying to them as well. And he wanted to point that out in the statement as well, that they were backing him because they were friends of him and believed in him, but they didn't know the truth at the time.
Yeah, and one of his biggest backers, Murph, is Troy Tulowitzki.
Right. Yeah.
Tulowitzki commented the other day, said, listen, he's still my friend. I still answer texts from him. And I still give him advice when I think advice is needed. As Casper Wells draws a 2-out walk. Now, Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the Packers, I don't know if he feels the same way that Tulowitzki does. Because he felt, he came out publicly and said that he felt like he was like everybody else. He was lied to.
Yeah, well, that's one of the most embarrassing things in a situation like that, when you really stick up for somebody and find out they were lying to you. I think that's what happened with Pete Rose, with so many people that really stuck up for him for a long time. And he's been a little bit vocal about it lately, saying, hey, the first step is to admit you were wrong and apologize. And let's say Ryan Braun's reputation's gone forever, but that's one step back.
Jimmy Rollins takes a strike with a runner at first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Phillies down by 3. Josh Outman has already appeared in the series one other time.
We're going to find out how strong and mentally strong Ryan Braun is, because he's going to have to live with that when he plays too. And there will be some cities that will be tougher than others.
I don't know if he can show if he can be any more mentally strong than he has been the last 2 years, playing with the lie the way it was.
Right, but now it's all
true.
Everything's out there now, and the suspension. And
there's a fair ball inside the bag, off the wall. Wells to third. Rollins holds at first. The throw is offline. First and third with 2 outs.
Well, here they come again with the tying run coming to the plate now. They're going to get Outman up, as Tom just said. Outman up out there, as we showed, and he's up for Utley. So Wilton Lopez has one more hitter, and Michael Young.
I give credit to Michael Kadire. Now that ball was hit very hard, and Jimmy Rollins was running the entire time. But give credit to Kadire for playing it as well as he did off the wall.
Ball girl did a great job too of getting that chair out of the way down there.
Yeah, Stephanie didn't know whether she should go forward or go back. She decided to go back.
That was a tough one. When in doubt, get out of the way. Good job. Trying to get a 2-out run here. That would be big. Cut it to 2 with 2 at bats left. That's all you get.
Michael Young is 0 for 3 in this game. Hits that one softly to the right side. And LeMahieu throws him out. Inside is retired. So the Phillies did get the tying run to the plate for the 2nd consecutive inning, but they leave 2. We head to the 8th inning. Rockies on top, 4-1. Ford stores. Go further. Buy McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Toyota. Toyota's nationwide clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places.
What's that one called? Blue moon, full moon. What's that baby tonight?
Well, I don't know.
It's bright and pretty.
Right. It's not a blue moon. It's not a full moon. It's a big moon.
Oh, it's real big.
Yeah. DJ Rosenberg will take over at the top of the 8th inning after Zach Minor throws 2 scoreless innings. 6 up, 6 down for Minor.
We're staying after him tonight. There are so many games this year where you thought, well, 2-3 run lead, it's over, dead in the water. They showed they'd come back a little bit last night, so we'll see. They haven't been able to do that much.
Somebody's birthday, Wheels. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it's Mom's birthday. There's a sign there, Mom. Just so you know, but you know who they are. And they say happy birthday. Michael Kadire will start it off. He's 2 for 3. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, big hit in that inning that they scored the 3 runs because Kyle had a couple strikes on him. Then he battled back to 3-2, got the second base hit in the inning. And then Rosario hit the home run.
Outside and low, 1-1.
Oh, he hit a screamer too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Ooh, that could have hurt somebody out there.
Called strike 3 toward the outer edge at 96. 1 out here in the 8th. Time now, Wheels, for our Coors Light freeze cam. You can get a chance to take a look at this swing and the pitch. The pitches from the home runs that Rosario's hit in this series.
Well, that was a cutter that he hit there, dead center field off Cloyd, and then off Cliff Lee. Hits his pitch out over the plate, and he hits another one out the same direction. Then Kyle Kendrick right there, he gets him almost to go down to one knee, and he hits it right on the barrel and hits it out of the ballpark. Thought it may have been a changeup. Have to find out later.
Our Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
See him getting a little bit off balance like that. You think maybe it was something off speed, but don't know.
Of his 20 home runs, 12 have come on the road, and 4 have come against the Phillies this year. The 0-1 pitch. Hit sharply toward third, a base hit past Ashe. And he's 2 for 4.
He can swing the bat. He's a little bit of an adventure evidently behind the plate, but he can hit.
One ball, no strikes to Helton. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Him trying to run something away from him, trying to get him to hook it, turn it over. Helton doesn't run very well at this point in his career and get a double play and get out of the inning. But now he's got to the point where he's got to come to him a little bit. Coming out there again. Helton, to his credit, is just saying, no, I'm not swinging out there till you get something called. I want it middle in.
got the green light 3-0, but I guess he's had that his entire career.
Yeah, and he had a pitch he could hit, too. He had to bring it over the plate. And that's just why he was taking all that stuff away to get to that point. Smart hitter, obviously, after all these years and the production he's had.
Now the 3-1 pitch coming to Helton, and he fouls it. 3-2.
3-run lead, so it's not that important that they get a first and third or stay out of a double play, but they still may run and trust Helton to put the ball in play.
Runner goes, pitch is fouled.
Yeah, they figure he's still a right-hander, not a swing and a miss guy, so they're going to take a chance that he will not strike out on a double play. He's more likely to roll into one.
Foul tip, and Ruiz is able to squeeze it. Second strikeout for Rosenberg.
They didn't run that time.
Now this January 2014, from the 22nd till the 26th, it's Phillies Fantasy Camp. It's available for folks 30 years old or older. Get a chance to play some games with some of the Phil's legends like Greg Luzinski, John Kruk, the commish Larry Anderson, Mickey Morandini will be there. Fantasy game versus the legends at Bright House Field. Get a Phillies uniform with your very own number on it. Call 610-520-3400 for more information. Arenado tonight is 1 for 3. Out toward right, Darren Ruff to the track, makes the catch. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. So 3 scoreless innings from the Phillies bullpen tonight, keeping it at a 3-run deficit as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Night here at the ballpark, and then Monday the 16th, when the Marlins come to town, is the one after that. Order tickets for both of those Dollar Dog Nights by going to Phillies.com. Charlie Blackmon will take over in left field for the Rockies as Josh Outman will come on to pitch for Colorado. He's 2-0 with an ERA of just over 4. They'll bat in their normal spots. Outman's on to face Utley Brown, and then Carlos Ruiz is up third. They've got Belisle warming again in the bullpen. They're trying to save this for Chad Bettis, who is looking to pick up his first major league win.
Yeah, he did a good job tonight. Look, he had a real good fastball mixed in some other pitches. Only gave up the 1 run.
Utley's 1 for 2. Struck out his first time up. And singled and walked. Phillies have managed 7 hits, but just the 1 run they scored in the second. They've had chances the last 2 innings. See that pitch come up toward the shoulders like that. It reminds us that Jason Hayward for the Braves, who was hit by a pitch yesterday in the finale of that series against the Mets, had 2 plates put into his jaw today. He did not have to have his jaw wired shut, which they thought was good, because obviously if he had that for 4 to 6 weeks or in that territory, he would drop even more weight than what they anticipate he will drop.
Yeah, that's a tough injury. Left-handed pitcher trying to stay in there, get hit like that. Oh, they had 2 unbelievable injuries this year in that Citi Field when you think about what happened with Hudson too.
2-0 pitch to Utley. There's a strike, 2-1.
It is a marathon in this business to try and get to the finish line and then do something after that. And the Braves are really being tested right now. They have a big lead, so they should be able to hang on. But they have a lot of problems all of a sudden. Beachy's, you said Beachy's hurt again, huh?
Yeah, Beachy's not pitching this week. And I think I read a report where he may have to go get re-examined by Dr. James Andrews. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. Take strike 2, 3-2.
Good job by Chase, just trying to get on base right now. 2 innings in a row, they get the tying run up.
So at a Major League scoreboard, the Braves are taking a 2-1 lead on the Cardinals. A 2-run home run by Justin Upton. Joe Kelly is pitching for the Cardinals.
Only 1 hit for the Cardinals tonight.
And Maholmes on the mound for the Braves.
Right. And he completes that good at bat with his 2nd walk of the night. Board has up there with the Halloween music in the background, walks will haunt you. That's good. Hope that's true.
Dominic singled his first at bat. He's 1 for 3. And now it's 1 ball and no strikes.
As you said, Tom Belisle's up out there, the right-hander. So Outman has 2 hitters here, maybe. It depends. If Dominic Brown were to get on, they'd probably go right to Belisle because all of a sudden Ruiz is a tying run. If he doesn't get on, they'll let him pitch to him, probably because Ashley's on deck. Or no, Ralph is. That's right.
Yeah, so they may go to Belisle.
Yeah, they could go to Belisle. Yeah, I was thinking Ashley was there, but it's Ralph. So this could be just a 2-batter appearance for Outman. Wild with his fastball, so he threw him a 1-0 change up there and got it over. Another one. How about that? It's 2 changeups over.
Can't throw it a 3rd time, can you?
Well, no. And a left-handed pitcher to a left-handed hitter throwing back changeups. Wouldn't think so. Now they're going to go away.
Dominic Brown Brown has been able to stay in against lefties for a lot of this year. It was a spurt where he struggled somewhat. He's behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Outman asks Rosario to go through the signs one more time. The 1-2 pitch. Little number. That's a fair ball. Rosario will go to first. He's retired. That's the second ball he's hit tonight that was exactly like that.
Yeah.
Although that one didn't go as far as the one that he hit in the third.
He hit a breaking ball right off the end of the bat. Yep, here he comes. There it is. Threw him some changeups, and they threw him a slider there right off the end of the bat. It's a fair ball. Good job by Rosario to pop out there and not allow that ball to go foul, because he knows he has an out somewhere, and that's what they're after right now, just outs.
Walt Weiss is out to the mound to make a pitching change. He's already signaled to the pen. So Matt Belisle will come into the ball game for the Rockies with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Phillies have a runner in scoring position, and Carlos Ruiz is due. Run they put on the board in the second. So now as we continue on here in the bottom of the 8th, Matt Belisle into his 58th game. He's on because Carlos Ruiz is 3 for 3 tonight. Ruiz has raised his batting average from 269, where it was at the start of tonight, up to 280. He has Utley in scoring position. You know, it doesn't always matter for Carlos when he's going good, righty or lefty.
No, he's on en fuego right now, and he's hitting balls hard, too. See what he's done in the last 5 games. That's hot.
Now the 0-1 pitch coming to Ruiz. Low.
Lyle's going to come right after you, a sinker slider for the most part, and very durable workhorse pitcher.
Phillies are 5 for 29 with runners in scoring position in this series. Utley leads off second. At the knees, 1-2. Got to stay calm, Wheels.
Yeah. Just practice outfield play there. Good catch he made tonight. outside or goes too far inside. See Carlos's eyes literally light up then when he saw that.
Making sure that bat's not cracked.
Yeah. Backed up a little bit too, it looked like, but still. That one out of his hands had to look like, oh, like a real balloon coming up there.
Inside to, oh, wow. Whoa.
I think he flipped a coin on that one. He
Sure
took a long
did.
time. Carlos had been back there all night too, and he knows that's not a strike. That's bad. Yeah, that's it's tough back there, but this pitch is inside. It doesn't cross the front of the plate. It's inside. He pulls it back too. You can see Rosario pull it back, and it took him a while to call it too. But when you've been catching in front of an umpire all night, you know his zone.
Had a good zone tonight.
Yeah.
Aaron Ruff takes inside.
It's tough. He's giving him a tough at bat up there too, because he's a hot hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike to Ruff. In the air to left center field. That one's way back there. It is gone! 2-run home run for Darren Ruff. And this is now a 1-run ball game. 4-3 Rockies on top. But Darren Ruff has tightened it up a little bit.
Boy, he has explosive power when he gets that head out. He was late on a fastball early in the count. He wasn't late on that one. Another fastball. And that thing really jumps when he puts a barrel on it. That's big power. Watch this thing jump. It's a fastball. It's out over the plate a little bit. And he puts a barrel on it, and it really jumps out of here.
Well, 9 home runs, 15 runs batted in. It made a winner out of Alan Stern of Drescher, PA, in our McDonald's home run jackpot. And how about Wheels subtly? As Darren Ruff's rounding the bases, Utley crosses the plate, stops, and has a quick conversation with Mike Estabrook, the home plate umpire. He was at second base when Ruiz was called out on strikes.
Well, umpires do respect him because he has a correct way of talking with him. Yeah, the guy missed the pitch. Now, it wasn't ball 4. It wasn't like he would have been on base, but he was working on it. And then you get Ruff up there as a tying run, and who knows?
Look at Chase. Look.
That's great. That's a great observation right there. And he's and Estabrook saying, all right, that's enough. You made your point. That's enough. Those are magic words from umpires. That's enough.
Just great stuff. Just being able to, he just does it his way, and it's great stuff.
Well, he's into it the whole game. He doesn't let up, this Chase Utley.
2-2 to Cody Ashe with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Ashe pulls it to right. Kadir's there. And the side is retired, but the Phillies do pull to within 1 on Darren Ruff's 9th home run of the year. He's reached base safely in 44 of the 48 games he's played. That's number 44 as he belts his 9th home run of the year. and break down all of tonight's action. That's next on the Phillies postgame show, live from Sugar House Casino. Well, it's now a one-run game as we go to the ninth inning. Well, great job by Zach Miner and B.J. Rosenberg. 3 scoreless innings of relief.
Right. They kept the game close, and the Phillies have been after the Rockies in the last 3 innings. Finally got a little bit closer as you look at Jimenez's numbers there on the 2-run home run by Darren Ruff. So big job for the left-hander. Keep it to 1 run just like last night. You can do a lot of things at home when you're only down by 1 run in the 9th inning.
So now Cesar Jimenez will face DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu takes outside. LeMahieu's had some pretty good at-bats during this series.
Phillies will be at 8, 9, and then the top of the order in the 9th inning, and they're getting Betancourt up again. Bring him right back in. Jump right back in the pool.
Yeah, there were reports that Betancourt was placed on waivers by the Rockies, which is not surprising. Right. I figure after the 1st of August or the 31st of July, most veterans, particularly for teams that are out of the race, will be placed on waivers. Whether he's selected or not, well, they'll find out by tomorrow.
Well, managers love to get a closer back in the game after they've blown a save, too, for confidence factor. And that's what they're going to do.
What 2 pitch to LeMahieu. Liner to right field. Darren Ruff comes in.
Ooh. That was a lights ball. He was struggling with it at the end.
So now Charlie Culberson.
See Darren Ruff right here at the end. He sees it's in the lights and he's going, I think I got it, and I do. Boy, that's scary for an outfielder. He gave the big after he caught it.
Charlie Culberson will pinch hit. Culberson, a .225 hitter. He's 9 for 40. Ground ball foul, and it's 0-1. Darren Ruff has 9 home runs, and 7 have come in August. This after hitting 8 down in the minor leagues.
Well, he can start hit. Problem, we talked about it earlier, and I heard Sarge talking about it.
Nice play by Rollins, little pirouette, and in time.
Good play by Jimmy Rollins. Whether or not he's guessing or not up there, talking about he's got to hit off the fastball. And in that at bat, he was late on a fastball, and then it looked like he got another one and crushed it. Because that sliders, not only he has trouble with sliders, a lot of hitters do. That ball's a little humpback one hopper out there, and Jimmy still can pirouette with the best of them and just give that little flip, and he got him. Never heard a whole lot of hitters say, boy, I'm making my living off hitting breaking balls down and away. That's not fun.
Dexter Fowler has struck out 3 times tonight. Inside, 1-0. Every time the Phillies retire the opposition 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Fowler.
One more out here and get to the bottom of the 9th. You never know. Once you do it in one game, then you start to feel a little bit better. You can do it again. a long time, they haven't been feeling that way. You get behind in games, and it was a problem.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Outside 3-2.
He knows that more than Charlie Manuel, the way it was going.
Swing and a miss. He got it with a changeup. Man, that thing was floating out there. 4 strikeouts for Fowler. Do the Phillies have some more magic? We'll find out in the bottom of the ninth, that will begin with Roger Bernardino. Rosario against Kyle Kendrick. A 3-run home run, his 3rd home run of the series, his 4th home run against the Phillies. 11 for 25 against the Phillies this year with 10 runs batted in. At the time it was 4-1 Rockies. The Phillies have made it a 1-run game, but that is our W.B. Mason delivery of the game. Let's see if the Phillies can have some heroics for a 2nd straight night against Rafael Betancourt. Roger Bernardino will lead it off. Well, whatever happens here in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Phillies bullpen threw 4 scoreless innings. It was capped off by Jimenez, who was able to work a 1-2-3 top of the 9th inning.
Well, that's a big part of a game like this when you fall behind, whether your bullpen can come in and hold them or not and prevent the other team from tacking on some runs, and they did that tonight.
So Bernardino will lead it off against Betancourt. It'll be Bernardino, and then the pitcher spot. John McDonald's out in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, McDonald's out there if they can get him on to bunt him over. And if he doesn't get on, then they probably go to Francis or Kratz or some Mayberry, somebody like that. But that would be McDonald's job if, in fact, if they can get Bernardino on base here.
Bernardino hitless in 4 at-bats with the Phils. 0 for 3 tonight. First pitch is a breaking ball. It's 0-1. Betancourt was the losing pitcher last night. The Phillies scored 2 runs in their half of the 9th to win it. Same scenario here. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bernardino. That's over for strike 2. It's 1-2.
Ryan Sandberg said that was a strike. From there, it probably looked high from the bench. Ooh. That's close to safe spot. That's what he thinks too.
Talked to Walt Weiss for a little bit yesterday. Seems to be enjoying being a major league manager for the first time.
Challenge of managing games in that home ballpark of his too. You have to do it a little differently.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Bernardino. Off the end of the bat, stays alive. Walt Weiss played for the Rockies, played for the A's. Good little shortstop.
Yeah, he's a good player. Jim Wright, who was in the Phillies organization as a young player.
Up left side. Tulowitzki takes charge, 1 out. And he really got him out front.
Yeah, it was a slower breaking ball.
Well, Kevin Franzen will indeed pinch hit. Kevin Franzen is due. He'll tell you he's due. His numbers tell you he's due. He's 0 for 14. 0 for his last 14.
Well, just get on base.
Get on base for the top of the order.
It's really important to retire the leadoff man when you're on the road in the 9th inning in a 1-run game, and they did that. But you can still do some damage with 1 out.
Yeah, last night the leadoff batter Eric Kratz reached on a double, and then eventually came around to score.
It changes everything when that leadoff guy can get on, especially in the scoring position.
Breaking ball, 0-1.
Betancourt's one of those veterans, you know. They got him last night, but he's not scared. You know, he just go out there and do his thing again, see what happens. Sorry, just told him something to keep his shoulder in, so his shoulder opened up a little bit.
One ball, 1 strike to Franzen. Change up that drop toward the outer edge. It's a tough pitch. One-two pitch to Franzen. Whacks it foul, and it remains 1-2. Rosario's talking to Betancourt. He just turned around and walked away.
They do. You can tell with Rosario, he's got all that energy. And I saw him do that with Lopez the other night. Lopez just waved him up. Get back there.
And Rafael will just turn around and walk away.
Well, yeah, he's a veteran guy. He knows what he knows what he wants to do out there. It's not like some kid.
1-2 again to Franzen. In the dirt, 2-2.
It's like hit some home runs and put the fingers down, and I'll handle the rest of it. The guy has great energy behind home plate, no doubt about it.
Off the end of the bat, spinning out towards short. Tulowitzki goes out Franzen. So there are 2 outs. Phillies are down to their final out here in the 9th inning, and Jimmy Rollins is coming up.
Well, everybody knows Jimmy Rollins likes the ball down and in from the left side, and that's where he really can pop them. So you wouldn't think they'd give him anything in that area. Great low fastball hitter. He was a great high fastball hitter.
Rollins has a base hit tonight. He's 1 for 4. Shows bunt. And he takes strike 1. Jimmy can tie this ball game up with one quick swing.
Right, that's why you think they would stay away from down and into it.
He has only 1 home run since the end of May.
Breaking ball. Put down 2 and threw a fastball. Okay.
Pitch. A line drive, base hit it to right field. Rollins around first. Will he try for 2? There he goes. Kadire has trouble getting it out of his glove, and Rollins slides in safely. The tying run is at second base here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
With Michael Young coming up and won the game last night off Betancourt when he hit a first ball fastball. Good hustle by Jimmy right out of the box. This is a double when he hits it. The fastball is in the middle of the plate. It's got some hook on it too, so it's hooking towards the corner. And Kadire does all he can do, but that's a double.
25 doubles on the year for Rollins. He won't reach the offensive output that he's used to, but still 25 2-base hits.
Here's Michael Young last night off Betancourt. This would have been a double. All they needed was a single. It's a high fastball, and he can hit high pitches too. So it would be very unlikely they'd throw him a high fastball on the first pitcher. That's what that mound conversation involving Jim Wright, the pitching coach, may have been about. Kadire's the best thrower out there in the group.
They're deep in the outfield. Rollins leads off second. Phillies have struggled with runners in scoring position in this series, except for the 9th inning last night. They were 2 for 3. But overall, and that's been an issue for the Phils before Ryan Sandberg and even after he was brought on last week. Rollins goes. Pitch is taken for a strike, and it's 0-1. Well, now a wild pitch, pass ball, you name it. Rollins will score the tying run.
Right, and they threw that first ball breaking ball like you figured they would, and Jimmy decides to go because they weren't holding him on. He thought they'd probably throw something slow, and these guys have a lot of pass balls, wild pitches.
41 wild pitches while Rosario's behind the plate.
So that was a great idea to just go to third base on that, since they didn't care whether you went or not.
9 pass balls. It's 0-1 to Michael Young. Fouls it back. It's 0-2.
Also takes the mystery out of having to throw the ball home from the outfield, whether or not you, as Juan Samuel's coach at third, whether you send him or not. Applebaum getting ready just in case.
They're going to work him away, as you would suspect. The 0-2 pitch. Tapper left to the mound. Going to be a tough play. Rollins scores, and the Phillies tie it up. Michael Young comes through again. It's a 4-4 ball game.
Wow. Looked like Betancourt was going to get to that, and if he did, he had a shot. But once it got by him, it was over. 2 strikes, and he dribbles 1 to short. They got some angel dust the last couple nights working here. Watch this. Nothing you can do about it. Betancourt is a little slow getting to it right there because he falls off to the first base side. Donato is really a good third baseman. I don't think even if he barehands this and throws, he's going to get him. See how much that baby was spinning, too. Jimmy Rollins walks him. There you go with him going to, they let him go to third base, and that ties the game. That's a great base running play on his part.
Well, now the athletic trainer's coming out to talk to Rafael Betancourt.
Yeah, it was funny, you know, when he went over towards the third baseline, I was looking at him, and I thought either he's ticked off or he's hurt. Because he really came up walking kind of funny after that.
He's back from an appendectomy.
Two outs, nobody on base. They tie the game. How about that?
Looks like they're trying to decide whether he's okay to continue or not.
I wonder if he hurt his back going after that, you know, because he really strained. Watch how he falls off to the first base side, so now he can't get back to it. Now watch when you see right here as he starts to walk away. That's when I thought, yeah, he reaches towards his back a little bit, then puts his arm up in the air. Something's wrong with him.
Well, he's going to exit, and they're going to call the bullpen to let Bo McLaughlin know who they want to have come into the game. Walt Weiss is going to trot off with the baseball. Phillies have tied it up. It'll be an infield hit for Michael Young and an RBI. So we've got a pitching change and an injury to Rafael Betancourt. We'll fill you in on who's going to come into the ball game when we come back.
And that's what just happened here. Jimmy hooks that ball towards the corner, gets that double out of the box. They don't hold him on here. He sees that. They don't really care if he goes to third. So there he goes. Walks into third base. And now this little dribbler that Michael Young hits, Betancourt can't get to it. Neither can Arenado. And as a result of Jimmy moving over to third base like that, he walks home with a tying run. And Betancourt hurt himself somehow on that play. So they have to go to Jeff Francis, who needs as much time, gets as much time as necessary to warm up. That's the only clock here. Doesn't matter in the game.
Doesn't matter what happens with that clock. It'll keep on going.
Well, we've seen it go to midnight and past in some games. Hopefully not tonight.
Well, Chase Utley, who has a home run against Jeff Francis. Francis in his 16th ball game. He has 2 wins. At one point, at one time, he was one of the more dominant left-handed starters in the National League. Would you agree with that?
Oh, he was really good. And then he had all a series of arm problems.
Young leads off first. The pitch to Utley. He takes a strike, 0-1, as you would suspect.
Pitch a great game time. Remember the playoffs, the first game. When the first year the Phillies were in postseason play, when the Rockies wound up going to the World Series. He pitched in the shadows that afternoon. Oh, those left-handed hitters, all they did was swing and miss at him.
Outfield is deep, as you would expect. No balls, 1 strike to Chase Utley. In the dirt, blocked by Rosario. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Kadire couldn't get any deeper in right field. He's almost on the warning track. So there you go. Look at this. How deep he is. All the way out here in right field. And that's to prevent any kind of extra base hit that would have a chance to win the ball game. Young is not a fast runner, but he's a good base runner. He's not going to steal a bag here, and that if you had a base stealer on there, you'd have a shot because Francis kind of slow to the plate with his times.
In the dirt again, 2-1.
He does a lot of that too. He bounces breaking balls. These guys have had a lot of problems on the road this year, the Rockies, and that gets in your head after a while, and here they go again.
Like the Phillies, they're 23-42 on the road. The Phillies are 24-40 on the road.
Well, when you get into these kind of things, you wonder what's going to go wrong as opposed to how we're going to win this.
Phillies are hoping they have it the other way around. That how are we going to win this? The 2-1 pitch. Outside, ball 3.
Baseball's so mental, and when you get into the funks in certain areas of the game, it will prey on you, and that's probably what happens with this team. Certainly going to look for a fastball on a spot here. He has a pitch to play with.
The 3-1 pitch. Ground ball foul. It's 3-2. So Young will be off and running.
He got it too. He got a middle in fastball there and just hooks it foul.
Todd Helton looking into the dugout. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to play behind?
I think they got to hold him on. They want to keep him as close as they can. They're going to play behind him a little bit, but they're not going to just let him go.
Oh, it's worked. See if it works some more, that rally cap. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Chase Utley. Michael Young goes. Pitch is inside, ball 4. The winning run is at scoring position, and Dominic Brown is coming up.
Dominic Brown has a walk-off hit against the Nationals. This was that cue ball shot up the middle. And Ben Revere scoring the winning run. There's 2 outs at that time, and Dominic hit it off the end of the bat. It looked like it went 3 different directions.
Yeah, that was a game that Jonathan Papelbon couldn't save, but he was the first one out there to greet Dominic Brown after he won the game for the Phils.
That was after the Tracy home run, I think it tied it up.
Dominic Brown is up with runners on first and second. 2 outs. And the pitch from Francis. Breaking ball hit sharply into right field, a base hit. Young's being waved home. The throw by Kadire is not in time. They did it again. Dominic Brown's RBI single caps a 2-run bottom of the 9th inning and the Phillies win it 5-4. And those celebrations never get old. Even when you're scuffling through a season 13 games under 500, they are invigorating.
Took that header out there, Cliff Lee.
That was Cliff Lee.
That wasn't pretty. That sure was at the end. That's what we're talking about. You know, when you're losing on the road the way the Rockies are right now, you kind of expect the worst. And they got into it again with 2 outs and nobody on base. Great job by the Phillies to just pack away at it and finally win the baseball game.
Juan Samuel taking a chance, waving Michael Young.
Have to do that there, Tom. I think, you know, when you're at home, worst thing that happens is he gets thrown out at the plate and you go to extra innings. Big difference when you're at home and on the road. And right here, Dominic gets a breaking ball there. It hung. He gets it by the second baseman out in the outfield. Look at great job there to come up and try and wave the base runner down at home plate. Kadire can throw, but he airmails this one a little bit. It's high and wide. And you see Carlos Ruiz had run up to the plate to try and help out with a runner. Kadire's their best thrower, but he has no shot there. Great job by the Phillies to come back and win another game. There it is again by Dominic. Gets a hanging breaking ball there, and he hammers that baby into right field. Then he stands at first base, takes a look, flips a helmet, and come get me, boys, as Michael Young does a nice fadeaway slide right there. Dominic Brown, we just showed his other walk-off hit against the Washington Nationals here.
Yep.
And he's down there right now with our Murph. Greg Murphy, take it away.
He sure is. We'll get some congratulations from Jonathan Papelbon. Wow, 2 nights in a row, this team walking off with a win. Right. And your buddy Kevin Francis is going to come up behind you. And I'm warning you so you can turn around right about now, all right? Oh, he's in on it. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Talk about the energy that this team is showing right now. 2 walk-off wins in a row. That's kind of special.
Right. We're having a lot of fun still. You know, we're coming in every day. We're battling. We're fighting hard. We're working hard. We're preparing the same way. Just going out and taking care of business right now.
You know, when you guys get on a roll like this and then you start having the energy and getting the walk-off wins, it just is a kind of thing that can be contagious, can take it from game to game?
Right. It definitely is. You know, I think every guy on the team want to be at bat, you know, when the 9th inning comes, 2 outs, guys in scoring position to win it. So, you know, when we're having things like that, when we're having good teammates and good camaraderie in the clubhouse, good things are going to happen.
Ryan has talked about using these final 30-plus games to really make a statement.
Right.
What kind of statement are you trying to make?
Right. That we're in it to fight. You know, I think that's the big thing with Rhino. He wants to come out every day and compete, and I think we want the same thing. So we're going to keep working hard. We're going to keep preparing, and I'm going to keep doing the little things.
I can't believe you turned on me like that, Dom.
I didn't get you too good, man.
Thanks, buddy. Congrats. Back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. You get yourself cleaned up once again. Michael Young across the plate, and the celebration begins for the 2nd straight night. The Phillies win it 5-4 as Dominic Brown is the hero.